Hello and welcome back to the channel. I am Jamie Walker and welcome to Living in Pensacola. On this channel, we cover all things about living in Pensacola, even traveling to Pensacola, moving to Pensacola, you name it. We love Pensacola and the surrounding area. So if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and like this video if you want to see more content like this. Today, we're going to be talking about VA benefits in Florida. So if you are in the military and you've gotten stationed here or you're thinking about retiring here, Florida is actually a really great state to move to for veterans. Veterans actually make up 12% of the Florida state population with over 1.5 million veterans. So that's a lot. And Florida really prides itself on being one of the nation's most veteran-friendly states. And really one of the only other states that is comparable would be maybe Texas. But I'm going to tell you all about what it's like to live in the Pensacola, Florida area as a veteran. One thing you might notice a little bit different today is I'm actually standing instead of sitting. And that's because I'm generally a very fidgety person and I don't do very well sitting down. So if you see me rocking back and forth, that's why. I'm feeling better. My allergies have subsided a little bit and I'm feeling a lot more energy. So today we're going to be standing up. So the first thing we're going to talk about are some tax exemptions on property in the state of Florida. If you are a veteran, you do get certain perks and I'm going to read some of those off to you now. So for veterans who call their Florida property home, who have been honorably discharged or have a service-connected, permanent, or total disability are exempt completely from property taxes, which is pretty cool if you ask me, because that can be a huge chunk of your monthly payment. And sometimes even if you already own your home, that means you're kind of off scot-free and you don't have to pay anything every year. In addition to that, Florida actually doesn't collect state income tax either. So you have a lot more flexibility and more money in your pocket in general. Just a little side quest there. One last thing to mention is that eligible veterans with a 10% or greater disability are entitled to a $5,000 property tax exemption with the right documentation. The next thing I want to talk about is the VA home loan. Now, this is a really cool opportunity for veterans to get into a home that otherwise may not be able to necessarily. The 1944 GI Bill rights established the VA home loan program to help veterans get a foothold into property home ownership after World War II. Now, the cool thing about a VA mortgage is that it's guaranteed by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. So it's backed by the government. So that way, if you somehow miss a payment or you miss a couple of payments or maybe a bunch of payments, the government is going to make up those payments. So it's a lot less risk for lenders and they really like VA loans because of this. Now, I'm going to cover some pros and cons for VA loans because it's not always sunshine and rainbows. It is a little bit more difficult sometimes to find a home that qualifies for a VA home loan. So here are some pros and cons. Pros: there are no down payment requirements for a VA loan, which is huge, especially right now. Oftentimes, you can also find that there's going to be lower rates offered with the VA home loan. And there's usually also very limited closing costs involved. Another neat thing you don't see too often, but VA loans are also assumable. So that means that someone could come in if you're selling your home and just take over your mortgage, which you don't typically see with a lot of other home loan products. Now, some of the cons of a VA loan, which really don't let them discourage you from using this amazing program, but I just think that you should be aware in case you are going to be using a VA loan. There is a VA loan funding fee, and this is either paid up front or it can be wrapped into the loan, and it's anywhere from 1.25% to a little over 3% of the loan itself. Another thing with VA home loans is they're only for primary home loans. So you can't use a VA loan to fund your vacation home or your summer home, your winter home, whatever it may be. It's got to be the home that you're going to live in. Now, to come full circle to the last con, it's the fact that not all properties are eligible for a VA home loan. Now, VA appraisers are some of the most tenacious appraisers out there. While they look for the same things that any other appraiser would look for, they kind of go the extra mile to make sure that not only is a home livable and meets minimum standards, but little things, like broken windows or wood rot, things like that would not fly and would have to be repaired before the home could be mortgageable. So it kind of works out because you're going to get a much better quality home, but sometimes it can limit your options depending on where you're looking and your price range. The next VA benefit I'm going to talk about are the employment benefits here in the state of Florida. And I'm going to read you a little bit of information that I found. After World War II, Florida was an early adopter of a state law giving veterans preference in state-level public sector hiring. So basically what that means is it requires eligible individuals to be given preference over other equally qualified applicants. So if you've ever wondered when you go in certain places and it's just like veterans everywhere you look, that is probably why. Another cool thing, if you are a veteran who's looking to open a business in the state of Florida, the Department of Business and Professional Regulation, or the DBPR, who also issues our real estate licenses, may actually waive your initial licensing fee to open your business, the application fee, and even the unlicensed activity fee for military veterans and their spouses at the time of discharge who apply for a state professional license. So if you're coming out of the military and you're like, I want to open a business, this might be a really good state to do that in. Now, this one was pretty cool. I didn't actually know this when doing the research for this video. I thought this was pretty neat. But veterans with a 100% service-connected disability are eligible for a no-fee driver's license. Basically, that means you can get your driver's license for free in the state of Florida. Not only that, but you can get the veterans designation on your driver's license as well. The next thing that I think is pretty cool, if you're an outdoorsy person like myself, you'll probably appreciate this, or even if you just like to travel around and sightsee. If you have a disabled veterans tag in the state of Florida, you are exempt from paying vehicle registration and license fees again. But once you have this disabled veterans license plate, you can park in spaces with the international symbol of access, the wheelchair symbol, for free. You can park next to a blue curb authorized for persons with disabilities. You can park next to a green curb, which usually means limited time parking for as long as you wish, so the limits don't count for you. You can also park on any on-street metered parking space at no charge to you. So if the, parking space people want to come around and try and ticket you, just point to your tag and say, I don't think so. But you can also park in an area that indicates that it requires a resident or merchant permit. Now, the next thing is also really cool if you're an outdoorsy person like myself, and that is the state park perks. What that means is that current and retired service members receive a 25% discount on annual entrance passes to any of Florida's state parks. And veterans who have service-related injuries, surviving spouses, or parents of deceased veterans who fell in combat receive a free lifetime military pass. How cool is that? This waives your entrance fees to any Florida state park. And the last thing we're going to talk about today is the tuition assistance that's available for veterans in the state of Florida. Something really interesting that I learned is that Purple Heart recipients and combat decorations with higher precedence receive a full tuition waiver in the state of Florida. Florida state colleges also offer, similar to the employee benefits, priority registration to any student attending classes with the GI Bill benefit. In addition to that, disabled veterans receive full tuition for their children and their spouses, as well as for those who died in service/MIA or missing in action. Now, if you're a Florida National Guard member pursuing a higher civilian education level, you may be eligible for state funding to help you pay up to 100% of your tuition. So as you can see, there are so many perks that you may or may not have even known about living in Florida as a veteran. And I hope if you've been trying to decide whether you wanted to move here or if you are moving here and you just wanted to know what the state of Florida offered for you, hopefully this video educated you a little bit and maybe persuades you to move this way. And if you are interested or thinking about moving to the Pensacola, Florida area, we would love to have a chat with you. If you look down in the description box, you can send us an email. You can schedule a Zoom call with either myself or my father, Phil Baker, who is also my partner / team person. We work together. We do everything work-wise together. So you get both of us, which is pretty incredible. But we would love to chat with you. Again, subscribe to this channel if you love the Pensacola area, or if you're thinking about moving here or you're getting stationed here. Hit the like button if you like this video, and you'll see more content like this. And we will see you in the next video. Bye.